What's up, guys? It's cold. I'm up in the Adirondacks for a couple weeks, and I wanted to talk to you about how to memorize numbers with more complex number systems. Let's go. All right, so I've talked about a number of number systems before. I've talked about the PAO, right, which was a 2-digit system. I've talked about the major system, which is just basically coming up with words willy-nilly, how you feel to represent numbers as words. And so now I'm going to talk about a couple other options out there for those of you that want to take your number memorization game to a complete new level. What kind of level am I talking about? Well, championship level, right? If you want to memorize thousands and thousands of digits of pi, if you want to be able to memorize hundreds of digits in a very short amount of time, these are the methods for you. Now, I gotta say this, setting up one of these systems does take a lot of effort and time. But the positive side of it is when you have it down and you've learned it, it's with you forever. And you can use it to memorize big numbers for the rest of your life. It's a pretty good trade-off, in my opinion. I think it's worth the effort. So if in case you feel that way, keep watching. So the first one I'm going to talk to you about is a 3-digit system, and it's the simplest to set up in my opinion because it only needs 1,000 images.
Over 9,000!
I say only 1,000, that's still a lot, I know, but again, you're watching this video because you're in it for the long haul. So 1,000 images should seem pretty reasonable. All right, so how do you set up a 3-digit major system? Basically, you know the major system. In case you don't, here's a quick recap. Got it? So all you're doing for these 3 digits that you're looking at is giving them a consonant sound and then creating a word. Now, it can sometimes be hard to come up with a word that has these 3 consonants in it, but there are some great resources where you can get some suggestions for these numbers. Numsy is my go-to. You plug in the number and it gives you options. So an example might be, maybe you have 357. MLK, that's pretty easy. I think of Martin Luther King. That already is just 3 consonants that represents a name. Another option for that could be milk, a carton of milk. Very simple object, very easy image. And MLK, I just put one vowel in between the M and the L, and I have my word milk. Here are a few other examples of 3-digit numbers just to give you an idea. Now, I know this seems like it's a lot of work. Again, it is a lot of work. You gotta sit there and come up with your 1,000 images. I know, there's no way around it, but remember, once you have it, it's yours. Now, what do you do once you have 1,000 images and you're looking at a number to memorize? All right, well, people have different approaches here. Some people like to put 2 images per location. Some people like to put 3 images per location. I don't really know anybody who does more than 3. I don't really know anybody who does just 1 image. So if you're doing 2, that's 6 digits, 3 and 3. If you're doing 3, obviously that's 9, 3, 3, 3. Now, just to let you know, some of the top memorizers are actually just using the 2. So if you're trying to decide, maybe go with what the champions do. And so let's say you have 3, 5, 7, which we've decided is a milk carton, and maybe the next 3 digits is 502, which in this system might be lasagna. You would picture those 2 things together, milk being poured all over your lasagna. And now that suddenly represents 6 digits, MLK for milk, LSN for lasagna, 357, 502. And you repeat that process using a memory palace to get you through however many hundreds and thousands of digits you want. All right, let's say that you already did your PAO. You have 100 people, 100 action, and 100 objects. Are there any options for you instead of just having to start over with 1,000 major system images? Yes, actually. And it's a system I use. I call it kind of a category system. And so if you have a 2-digit PAO, you have 100 people. So let's say that for all those 100 people, you consider them different categories. So for my category system, the way it works is I took my original 100 people from my PAO, and I basically decided to come up with 1,000 people. So how to do that? I basically let the 2-digit person represent a category. Obviously from 2 to 3 digits, you have that 1 extra digit. It can be a possibility of 10 different things, 0 through 9. I came up with 10 people in the category of that original 2-digit person. Okay, an example, 15 is Albert Einstein. You can do this 2 ways. All the 3-digit numbers that end in 15, 15, will be of Albert Einstein category, so maybe famous scientists, or you can do all numbers that start with 15 and end with another digit. The way I do it is basically 0, 15 is the original person, so Albert Einstein is 0, 15. It's 15, right, if you read it. Then 115, 215, 315, 415, all the way to 915 are different scientists. And I use kind of a mix between the Dominic system and a major system to treat that single digit as basically a sound that can remind me of the specific scientist. So 815 for me is Richard Feynman. Feynman, F. So the 8 in the major system is an F sound. So that helps me remember that, okay, we're dealing with a 15 category, that's scientist, 815, it's got to be an F sound, so it's Feynman. Another example, 72 was George Bush. So my original 072 remains George Bush. Then 172, 272, 372, 472, all the way to 972 are all former US presidents. So 272, 2 I treat as either major system is an N sound, or in the Dominic system it's a B. So I actually go with B, which is Bill Clinton. 372, the 3 is a C, so that's President Carter, and you get the idea. Now, what do you do with those 1,000 people? Okay, you might be thinking, okay, well maybe if I want to keep my PAO, I gotta come up with 1,000 actions and 1,000 objects. Not really. What I actually do is I use 1,000 people and I still use the 2-digit action and the 2-digit object. So I'm doing PAO, but with a slightly bigger 1,000-digit person. The nice thing about that is you can incrementally make that span more digits. So if you want to start with 1,000 people, you can do that, 322, person, action, object, and still use your actions and objects from your 2-digit system. And then when you feel a little more comfortable, you can actually increase how many objects you have to 1,000 using the same kind of category system. So then you can do 323, which is memorizing 8 digits at a time. You'd have 1,000 people, still 100 actions, 2 digits, and then 1,000 objects, 3 digits for the object. And then if you're up to it, you can of course advance your actions to 1,000, but I think that's pretty difficult. Now, what you may gather is that this may seem like a lot of work, and it is. This is probably actually a lot more work, but if you really like PAO, which I do, it feels like the best way to memorize. For me, it actually is worth it, and I like having 1,000 people. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not that bad. 1,000 objects, not that bad either. So that's it, folks. Are there other ways to memorize a lot of numbers? Are there other bigger systems? Yeah, there's a few others, but they're all basically different variations of what I've talked about. Most probably will tend to go towards the major system just to have 1,000 digits. Pretty simple, done and done. But again, it's just a bit of elbow grease. You got to get the work done to get that system going. All right, thanks guys for watching. I hope that was a helpful video on how to set up a more complex number system so that you can memorize more faster. A lot of you probably don't care to have a number system like that, but in case you do, hopefully this will get you started. If you have any questions, always feel free to send me a message. I can maybe send you some of my number lists so that you know maybe where to start. Anyways, that's it. I'm out. I'm about to head out on a big trip to Nepal, and I'll see you when I get back. Please like, subscribe, share, all the things. I'm out.